Our first article is about fasting, since we're already about to approach the fasting month shortly, which is it's tomorrow, right? Friday.
It's tomorrow. It's Friday. Yeah.
Tomorrow. With it being Ramadan and all, what do you think are the benefits of fasting, especially having a scheduled fast?
Yeah, I think fasting has been there from time immemorial. From ancient time, people have been doing fasting, whether it's through whether it's religious or just for the sake of helping to recover from helps in detox, for example. It's something that we always talk about. Detox is fasting. So many different type of fast. But interestingly, there's a new thing that we have discovered now. In fact, someone got a Nobel Prize for this concept of autophagy, which is your body eating your own cells. And what happens is our cells die, but they don't get lost. They just stay there. They're dead cells. And this causes a lot of inflammation in the body. They say that's one of the theories of aging. So the Japanese researcher, doctor, discovered this autophagy concept where our body will eat its own cells. And he got a Nobel Prize for that. And what it does basically is that things to cause autophagy is what we call fasting. So that's why we find that actually the benefits of fasting, not just detox now, it also gets rid of all the dead cells in our body, keep the younger, healthier cells, and they find that autophagy can sort of expand or increase our lifespan, reduce risk of getting cancers and other diseases. And I think this is what we actually now know that is what the role of fasting is. It helps to take away your toxins, helps you to detox, and helps get rid of all your dead cells so that you actually stay healthier, stay younger, live longer. So I think that's the importance of fasting. Now, just a few things about fasting in the sense that when you do fasting, there are many types, whether water fast, juice fast, intermittent fasting, whether some people do longer 2-day, 3-day fast. But what I find that a lot of people, when they do fasting, especially intermittent fasting, is they do that great. They fast for 16 hours, but that 8 hours that they eat too much. And I think that's where the whole focus of fasting gets lost. I know patients of mine who say, "Oh, I can't lose weight with intermittent fasting." Then you find out what do you do the 8 hours? They go on the binge. Every hour they're eating something.
Because they have to replace all the lost nutrients.
Which is, I think, where the whole thing goes wrong, because whatever you have, sort of killed your cells or whatever and got rid of those cells and you lost some weight, but you're going to make it up with all the extra calories you're eating. So in the 8 hours you're eating, make sure you eat healthy and don't overeat.
Can you repeat yourself again just then? How do we get all these dead cells accumulated in our body?
Yeah, because as our cells age, there's a certain lifespan, then they will die off. But what we didn't realize was the cells actually don't just disappear. They're dead and they stay there.
Okay.
But now they release a lot of inflammatory cytokines that cause inflammation of the surrounding cells. And those cells start getting injured, and those cells start getting die, or those cells become cancerous. Right? So what you have to do is get rid of those cells. So one of the ways is autophagy.
And one of the ways is to fast so that your body will eat those cells.
Yeah, because you got no other source of food, so it starts eating own dead cells.
I like that.
That sounds fascinating yet scary at the same time. It's like parasitic inside your body.
Yeah,
parasites inside your body.
Yeah, but that's how I think the body recovers and heals itself.
Okay. Now, doctor, what do we need to be mindful of while fasting, especially for our Muslim brothers and sisters during this fasting month?
Important after fast, hydrate yourself, because you are fasting for almost 12 hours, hydrate yourself. Second, like I said earlier, don't overeat. Don't binge with all the wrong food, junk food, all the refined carbs. Make sure you eat healthy, and that way you have all the benefits of fasting.
Okay.
Actually, Doc, if you don't mind me asking, there are many different kinds of fasting that people do. Some fast for one full day and they drink water, so they don't consume food. Some do I've done this World Vision thing before where they don't eat anything, they don't drink anything for 3 days straight, which is tough. But I think they also drink. The Muslim way of fasting is there's no water involved. How is that? Is that healthy?
I mean, it's okay because you're just talking of maybe a 12 or 14 hour. So you can actually get away. But 3 days fasting, you need water. You cannot do a 3-day fasting. You can get away not eating food for even longer periods.
Right.
But you cannot get away from drinking water for more than 20, 40 hours. You are going to get into problems. So most of the 3-day fasts are water fast. That means they take
Right.
water, but they don't eat anything.
So 12 hours without water, you don't get dehydrated.
Yeah, you shouldn't unless you're out there working in the sun or what. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting indoors, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Okay, but should they drink lots and lots of water when they break fast or stagger it out?
I think stagger it out, and you still make sure you get your 1.5 to 2 liters a day if you can. So you cover up that during the 12 hours that you can drink.
All right.
Too bad it's
Cool.
recording. I want to say something else, but I'll keep my mouth
Let's
shut right
move
now.
on to the next article. This one's quite interesting. It's about Parkinson's, a potential Parkinson's treatment, and it comes in the form of a Chinese herbal medicine. What do you think, Doctor? Would TCM be a good alternative for Parkinson's, or is it best to just stick to conventional medicine for treatment?
I mean, I think there's a lot of research now going into TCM. And you realize a lot of the Western medicine also actually do come from plants. And that's how you discover some of them from plants and they become so-called Western medicine. But I think TCM is now getting more and more well-known, and more research is going into, using, because it's a complementary medicine now. So like this one is called Ginseng, and it works on the dopamine. So what happens in Parkinson is your area in the brain called substantia nigra somehow is not working. It produces dopamine, which causes Parkinson. So the medicine that we have actually increase dopamine in the blood, but these herbs do also the same. They got, I think, 18 different compounds in this Chinese herb, and that somehow stimulates your dopamine. It works on certain receptors in the brain. So it works exactly like the same allopathic Western medicine. It's not a cure. It is also increasing the dopamine. Now, whether you have to use alternative TCM or whether you have to use Western medication, I think in Parkinson, it's okay. As long as they work together, probably you can use combination of both. That means Western medicine. Now, Western medicine over time loses its effect. They get side effects and you get issues. So maybe TCM using this can be like a complementary to the Western medicine. So using both together to help the patient even feel better.
But is there a cure for Parkinson's at this moment?
Right now, there's no cure. There is when they do electrical stimulation, they put electrode in the brain, and that's the nearest they have come to improving the Parkinson patients. But right now, there's still no cure. Like Alzheimer's, there are medication to slow down to help improve the patient mobility, but there's no cure yet. They're looking at stem cells in the future. A lot of research going on in stem cells, but we have to wait and see.
Okay, next one. Okay, next one is interesting. Soy-based foods may promote heart health. That's the headline of this research. But reading through the research, there's been actually contradicting results. Some studies have said that there are health benefits of soy-based food. And then other studies say that there's not much of a health benefit when it comes to soy-based food. So in your opinion, can taking soy-based foods have a good effect for your heart?
I mean, if you look at soy, soy is a protein base, but it doesn't have saturated fats. The other protein source is a red meat. So it's a good alternative to red meat if you want protein source. But also there is things about one soy is, there's a lot of genetically modified soy in the market. So people got worried about that. Secondly, it is a
genetically modified soy.
Yeah, GMO, they call it GMO foods.
Yeah.
So soy has got a lot of GMO food, soy out there.
Okay.
So people worry
Mutant
about
soy, Bel.
Mutant soy.
Yeah, you actually call it mutant soy. And it's a phytoestrogen, so men must be careful, because it does have some estrogen-like effect. So men cannot take too much. Now, whether soy is a heart benefit, actually they say that the Japanese do take soy and the incidence of heart disease is less, but it's more again the fermented part of it, the miso, the tempeh, all that actually very healthy. But soy per se, I think it is definitely a healthy food, but again in moderation. You shouldn't take too much of soy because then you might have an issue.
Go back to that bit where you said men shouldn't take too much of this mutated soy. What happens if we do take too much of this with what phytoestrogens?
Yeah, because it's like estrogen effect, so you get more of like the female hormones coming in, so you become more feminine.
What do you mean by that?
Will they
Yeah.
grow breasts and
No,
their
I mean it
voice
won't go that
change?
bad. Like it's just the effect of the phytoestrogen. So they won't go unless I think you're consuming a huge amounts of phytoestrogens, right? But it's got that slight of that estrogen effect. So maybe men can take his healthy food, but again not too much.
Okay. But does this only apply to the GMO soy, like the mutant soy,
No,
or
all soy, all
all
soy.
soy has
Yeah.
phytoestrogen?
It's a phytoestrogen, you know. But again, if
Okay.
you take normal quantities, it will not do any harm unless you're taking really high, intake of soy, which is not any food. I think you must balance it. Don't take anything in excess. Whatever, even it's a superfood, it's a healthy food. I will still take it in moderation.
Okay.
Everything should be well balanced.
So if I take Yong Tau Fu for lunch and then I have like Tau Fu Fa for tea and then after that I have another soy-based thing for dinner, I'm gonna be a woman.
Yeah, if you carry on that for every day for months and months, you probably will have. Yeah, you become a bit more feminine.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Oh,
God.
now
Uh,
I know I have to make a soybean cake for for JD for his birthday.
oh my God. Oh my God.
All right. Let's go on to the next one. It's all about fainting spells or blackouts.
Oh.
We've all had them once in a while, but should we be worried, doctor, if it occurs frequently?
I think any sort of a blackout syncope uh, is something you have to really ask yourself what happened. Especially older people when they have falls secondary to syncope, you always ask. First, when someone has a fall, we ask them, did you fall because you tripped and fell because you lost balance, or did you just had a blackout?
Mm.
Now, if you have the blackout within a year, for this I'm talking of older people, within a year, 50% will die from the underlying cause of the syncope, right?
Oh.
Most people who get syncope, especially they're older. Younger people can get syncope with standing in the hot sun for too long. You get a vasovagal attack can. But most people when they are older, I'm talking older means 50 and above, 60 and above, they either had a heart issue or a brain. So either they had arrhythmia or the blood pressure drop or they had a small stroke that was not picked up. So any patient who comes in with a syncope, a blackout, we normally investigate first. We don't pass it off as something benign because we don't know whether it was an underlying cause. So we check the heart, we do a scan in the brain, make sure they didn't have a stroke, make sure there's no other lesion that caused this syncope. Uh, but before we do that, a history is very important. Was ask exactly what happened. Someone did have breakfast, didn't have lunch, very busy, tired, got a
Right.
bit low sugar, had a fainting spell, fair enough. Someone who is standing too long for whatever reason, for their work or what, and then the blood pressure came down. So you must actually find out what was the reason for the syncope. But if there's no reason, there's no underlying cause, and they suddenly fainted, and if it happens more than once, then you have to investigate and see what is the cause.
When you say more than once, is it like an everyday occurrence or more than once in a day? Is that
So even
where does it
once,
get
let's say you
dangerous?
get twice in a year also is something that you have to find out what
Oh,
happened.
really? Okay.
There are many causes. Did he have epilepsy? Did he have a stroke? Did he have arrhythmia in the heart? Did the blood pressure drop? So there are many causes. So if you look at our textbook causes of syncope, there's a whole list of them. So doctors have to investigate. Were you anemic? So there are many things that we can look at to see or to find out what caused the syncope, what caused the fainting spell.
How about
All
if you
right.
don't faint completely? Like sometimes I'll be I'll be playing with my kids, on the floor. And then when I get up, I suddenly just black out. But you don't
Yeah.
really faint. You just suddenly feel
Yeah,
like
but
you're seeing
you know
stars for
exactly
a
what
while.
happened. You're squatting down, blood supply in the legs, and then you get up too suddenly, not enough. The body can't coordinate enough to increase the blood supply to the brain. So you can get a bit dizzy, get a bit of a syncope, but you didn't faint. So that's normally, and you know what happened, you know what the cause of it. But let's say you're sitting now suddenly and you just lose consciousness.
Mm.
That's very sinister. So we have to find
Oh.
out why suddenly someone is standing or sitting and just lose consciousness. So we have to investigate why that happens. For squatting down, or like I said, someone standing too long, in the hot sun. So all these, the underlying cause. But you
But
Okay.
can't,
it's not something that it's gradually, let's say it starts with someone like Belle standing up and then she starts to feel faint. And it starts to get even worse
um,
progressively where she completely passes out for a good few minutes. Is there some danger there already?
Yeah, that is already a warning sign, a danger sign. So it has to get investigated.
Okay.
Was your blood pressure too high? Was it too low? Something else going on? And then you have to find out whether there are other signs or symptoms like neurological. Did you have like slurred speech? Do you have loss of vision? So all these things have to be looked at. Then the right test must be done to find out what was the cause.
Actually, doctor, why do people faint? Like, what happens when a person faints?
Yeah, so it is not enough blood supply going to the brain. So whether your blood pressure drop or whether the heart had a arrhythmia, so it's not sending enough blood to the brain, or you had a stroke that caused a loss of or in some variant in your electrical activity in the brain. So any of these things can cause you to suddenly lose consciousness.
So
Let's
it's
say
basically it's like not enough blood to the brain. That's it,
yeah,
and then you faint.
some people have vasovagal. That means if someone disturbs your carotid artery, you can get a vasovagal attack. So all these things that cause not enough blood or something that happens in the brain that causes someone with underlying epilepsy, he doesn't know he got epilepsy. So that's electrical activity. So whether not enough blood supply to the brain for whatever reason, or there's a electrical activity in the brain that causes you to suddenly lose consciousness and fall.
Okay, interesting.
Fascinating.
But it's something that you have to be checked. It cannot be just left out as something normal.
Okay. And this is if you faint, like you lose consciousness even for a minute. And if it happens more than once, even a month, you have to go get it checked.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did JD go?
Syncope.
Send help. Do you have to call the ambulance for you? Did you faint?
The wind picked up suddenly out of the blue, and everything's like banging. And good lord, I was like,
okay.
I freaked out a lot because I took too much phytoestrogen. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem. The feminine part of you.
Okay, let's get to our final article. Let's get to our final article, doctor. This one is all about nutrition and saying why nutrition is so hard to study. So we've heard so many different differing opinions. Is dairy good? Is it bad? Is cholesterol evil? Does eating red meat kill? Is a ketogenic diet good? Or a health hazard? Can the vegan or the vegetarian or the pescatarian or raw food diet actually extend a disease-free life? So so many differing opinions, so many different diets and nutrition advice out there. What is the most important thing to you, doctor, to remember when it comes to nutrition?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because I've been on this journey for wellness for now so many years. And I read a lot about wellness, any book that I see, how to stay healthy, this diet, that diet. Recently reading a book about secrets of people who never get sick. So you read up, and the more I read, sometimes the more confused I get. Elements are good for you, elements are bad for you, soy good for you, soy bad for you. But what I found was that looking at the blue zones, the 5 blue zones in the world, in the Okinawans, the Sardinians, the Nicoya, the Adventists, all these people who are in the blue zones, and they have shown, these are not talking of few people, you're talking of millions of people, like the whole Okinawan island or the whole Sardinia. And what are they doing? Why do they live 100 and beyond? Why don't get all this disease of the other people are getting, from cancers to strokes to heart attacks to dementias? And look at their lifestyle. It's an overall lifestyle. They have a purpose. They are very social. They look after their family, and they have a very plant-based diet. They're not vegetarians. They're not vegans. They don't do intermittent fasting and all those things. But they have a very plant-based diet. They eat a lot of fruits. They eat a lot of vegetables. They eat a lot of seeds. Eat a lot of nuts. They have some. The Okinawans take fish, even some pork once or twice a week. The Sardinians do eat poultry. Only the only ones that are fully vegans are the Adventists in America, because of the religion. But the rest of them are not fully vegan, but they're 80% plant-based. They don't take junk food. They don't have refined carbohydrates in their food.
No processed foods, right?
No processed food, no saturated fats. So, And I think that's a very balanced diet, very natural, health conscious diet. I think that's what you have to do. And so when you do intermittent fasting, I think there's definitely no harm. Whether you have to go vegan, also apart from B12 and a bit of protein that you might have a deficiency, you must be careful. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is the concept of eating natural food, eating well-balanced food. Because I know a lot of people who call themselves vegetarians but eat a lot of carbohydrates, right? So they hardly eat vegetables, but they call themselves vegetarians. So again, I think people don't understand the concept. A lot of time people do certain things over a short period. They decide to go on intermittent fasting. After 3 months, they get tired, they give up, and then they're back to their normal self. So whatever you decide to do, I think go back to what the blue zones, read up what they do, and do that for the rest of your life. Not something you're going to do today, tomorrow, and just for the next 3 months, and then you're back to your normal self. You decide that this is what I want to do, and you're going to do it for the rest of your life. And that's important, right? So I think I agree with you. There's a lot of confusion,
Yeah.
But going plant-based, very natural foods, I think that's the way to go.
So it's better to be vegan than to have meat in your diet, or too much meat in your diet.
I would actually take away red meat if possible, but maybe you want to take it like, in Okinawa, they do have poultry. You take once a week. Now, if you look at your daily, if you have 3 meals a day and you're having 21 meals in a week, one of the 21 is a poultry. That means 1 out of 20, So that they're not vegetarians, but they have very little. 20 other times they're going to have a lot of vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and some soy and all those healthier food that they're going to do. So I think that's where you have to look at overall. If you're a vegetarian, great, but make sure you eat vegetables, fruits and
Not
nuts
carbs.
and seeds. Not carbs, not roti chana and mee goreng, vegetarian. That doesn't count.
But then again, there are all these people who constantly, I always wonder, like we're told to eat veg from the time when we were very young and to try to put that into our system. And then we know, and we know some people who don't eat veg at all. And then we're always going to say, oh, eventually it's going to catch up to you. And then they live to like 90 years old and then nothing happens to them,
Yeah,
So I always wonder.
It is a minority. If you really look at it, like people say, oh, I know the guy who smokes for so many years and lived up to the age of 90.
Yeah.
But that is 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, 88 people. See, right now we got an epidemic that's going on, a pandemic, and every time I see the Director General of Health said, so and so passed away, he had diabetes and hypertension. So and so passed away, he had diabetes and hypertension. It just shows, and why do you get diabetes and hypertension? It's your diet and exercise, metabolic syndrome. So, this causes decreased immunity, and a virus can come and cause problems for you. So from this, I think it's a good lesson that we shouldn't get diabetes, shouldn't get hypertension, shouldn't get kidney disease, avoid cancer. Because you have this, you're already going to lose the battle against the virus. So how you do that? Go on a plant-based diet, do some exercise, and you're on the right track.
Or at least step one, stop taking processed foods.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. Again, if you want to, people who want to do it once a week, they call it the cheat days.
Yeah.
Because you can look forward to the cheat day, but the rest of the other 6 days you are healthy.
Yeah. Most people do the opposite. They have a healthy day, and the rest of the time.
I totally agree with you. The cheat days is having the vegan food.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajbans.
Okay, thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you on with us. Yeah.
Okay then.